when you release emotions that are stuck in your fascia, so emotions that are stuck in your body, they move through you like waves. They release as waves. So there's an emotion coming through you. Maybe it is anger, maybe it is fear, maybe it's excitement or joy. The wave moves through your body and it hits a block. If you pay attention to the wave, to what's happening in your body, your fascia gets the signal it is safe to release now, and it lets the wave move through. This layer of emotion is being released. It might feel like trembling, it might feel like shaking, it might feel like yawning, or you might spontaneously want to make a noise or start singing. Could be anything, but it will be a physical form of release. It could be something as simple as and that's the wave releasing. So all you have to do is focus on your body and focus on, what this feels like. On the trembling, stay with it. Stay with the wave, stay with the trembling, stay with the sensation, because it might feel uncomfortable at first, especially as you go down into deeper layers. Now you may think, okay, I'll do that, no problem. I'll just stay with the trembling. I'll just stay with weird sensations in my body. I mean, why wouldn't I, right? It's super easy. Totally gonna do that. Well, why wouldn't you? And that is the crucial question. Hi, I'm Miriam and I teach emotional intelligence skills. Welcome to EI for Life. Here's why you often will not actually stay with the wave. And so your body clamps down and interrupts the wave. Now, when emotions run through our bodies, this is how it should happen. There's an emotion, maybe it's fear, and there's a wave of fear, and then it releases, it runs its course. And when it releases in a very specific form. Maybe it's shaking it off. Maybe it is inwards trembling. Maybe it is going away and hiding. Some form of action. Some form of physical action. This is how it should happen. When we are little, though, we learn not to do that. We learn to suppress these emotions, not to let this specific course run through. It can be something positive as well. If you are a child who's super excited and you jumped up and down and your parents tell you to stop being so loud, you learn to clamp down on the emotion. You learn to create a block. Every single time you do not let the emotional wave run through you, you create a block, you strengthen the block, you add to the block. Now, what we learn instead is we learn stories about the emotion, and we learn new and different actions. For example, instead of, shivering, or instead of shouting or speaking up when you are angry, you might learn to clamp down, to tense up your shoulders. You might learn to compensate in some way, or you might learn to numb yourself by reading books or watching movies. You might learn to numb yourself with phone, anybody? Doom scrolling, social media, what have you. So you learn to take these actions. Another thing is the stories we learn from other people about anger. You might learn a story that good children do not get angry. Good children do not say it when they're angry. Good children are simply not afraid. As we grow older, these stories become more and more complex. We add more and more to them. It might be something like a good person never shouts, or a good person, is always kind. Sounds positive, but if it means that you actually do not enforce your own boundaries, it's not actually positive at all. So these stories run, and over time we add more and more and more and more to them. Worrying about the future, that's a story. Worrying about what you did in the past, a story. Planning what you're going to do next, that's a story. It's a story about the future you learn to tell. And you learned to add these stories to these blocks. Many of them are very specific to blocks, but others could just be your go-to reaction, go-to story in general when you're clamping down on any kind of emotion. And that's what you're doing. So the new sequence you learn is wave of emotion hits the block, triggers new story, triggers new action. And that is why attention is so crucial. When the wave of emotion comes through your body and it hits that block, if you stay with what's happening in your body, if you stay with the fascia release, with the actual physical sensation, the wave can run through. This layer of emotion can be released. So that's what you got to do. But what will also happen, wave of emotion comes through, it hits the block, and these stories will come up. They'll just appear. You might even take an automatic action, like just pick up your phone and start just checking your emails, checking your social media, whatever. So these stories and these actions take you away from the wave. And when you allow the stories to, when you pay attention to the stories, when you pay attention to the action, your body actually shuts down the wave again and you have no release. So where your attention goes matters very, very much. It's crucial. Without it, waves of emotions cannot actually finish. They cannot move through you. Now, what is very important to understand is there's nothing evil going on here. There's nothing bad going on here. These stories are not, stopping you. They're not self-sabotage. They're not blocks in your way. The stories as well as the actions are one step in an automatic process you've been practicing for years and more often decades. The content of the stories, the type of the action is completely and utterly irrelevant. Why am I saying this? Because one key way that gets your attention is when you start looking at the stories, when you start analyzing them, try to give them meaning, try to understand where they came from, etc., etc., etc. A key way how people get lost in actions is by understanding, where did I get this habit from? Who taught me? Etc., etc. And as soon as you actually pay attention to what it is you're doing, what the story is you're telling, your attention is gone. It's just as bad. So, when you work with fascia, what you have to understand and practice seeing is that both the stories and the actions that are triggered by the block are irrelevant. They're just another step in an automatic sequence. The only reason they come up is because you've practiced this particular sequence for many, 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 many years. They do not matter in themselves. All you have to do is return to the body. Return to the wave. Return to the release. What's happening? What's going on? Maybe it's a specific area in your body where the release is happening. You pay attention to it. Maybe it's different areas in your body that are flashing. You pay attention to them. So your attention matters very much, and it matters very, very much while you do active fascia work. So whether you do yin yoga, or if you go for long walks, or you do qigong, any kind of thing, any kind of exercise you actively do to work with your fascia, you gotta pay attention. If you just noodle through the exercises, you just do them on autopilot, nothing's gonna happen. Your body is trying to release these waves all the time, but it does need you. It does need your mind, your active, conscious mind to be with it. That is when the fascia knows, okay, it's safe to release this now. If you get lost in stories or if you get lost in actions, the wave cannot flow through. So, what's your job? You get back to the body again and again and again. That also means if you are on a walk, you're not listening to podcasts. You're not listening to music. You are present. Your attention is on your body, so you can help your body release all those stuck emotions. All right. Yeah, you can absolutely do this. Here's the really great news. Once you understand that none of the actions, none of the stories, the content doesn't actually matter, then once you practice just coming back to the body over and over and over again, they lose their power. You know all those worries that feel like they're the center of your universe? Poof. Now they're just fridge noise. And you just come back to the present, to the here and now, to what's happening in your body right now. And that is how you allow stuck emotions to release. Have fun. And I will see you in the next video.